Things are calm for the Dodgers. Things are relaxing right now. We're still days away from the NLCS, where the Dodgers are going to be playing. And the postseason rule will resume for your boys in blue. With the downtime, how are you guys feeling? How are we all feeling about these Dodgers so far in October? Your thoughts, my thoughts, your voicemails, plus Cubs or Brewers? That's the big question here on this edition of All Dodgers. Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers podcast. We got the soundboard going. I see friends in the chat. What's going on? We got Roy Estrada, Swell and Sausage, MWG, which is hard for me to say because I am a little dyslexic. See, it didn't work. Kevin Uhas, friends of the show. Anyways, All Dodgers is presented by FanDuel, part of the Bleav Network podcast. My name is Clint. Find me as Real FRG on the social media machine. And yeah, it is nice after watching that Mariners game last night. It is nice to not have to be stressing right now, for it to be peaceful, we're all going to be losing our shit real soon. And by the way, this is Saturday. It's Spicy Saturday. If you got kids in the car, there might be some F-bombs. There might be some foul words. We do have voicemails on today's show. If you guys have voicemails that you'd like to get in along the way, I'll try to put them on. I'll try to get them in. 562-373-4095. Share your thoughts so far about this Dodgers team and the postseason. Yeah, it is nice. I was talking to someone yesterday about not having to have the stress of a game 5, or not having to really just the stress of watching a postseason game. I saw my buddy Blake Harris earlier on Twitter saying, every day feels like an elimination game when you're watching the postseason. So we'll take the bit of a mental reset for the weekend here. I'll be live today. Jeff and probably me, and maybe also Kevin, will be live tomorrow evening to preview whoever the Dodgers are playing, because we don't know yet. Obviously, Cubs, Brewers coming up later this evening. But let's talk about a little bit more about that walk-off. Obviously, we all have our thoughts about the way that game ended. You feel bad for the Phillies here on Coffee Saturdays as well. Coffee with Clint, if you will. Shout out to producer Mrs. FRG in the living room, or in the backyard, technically, currently listening. But we talked about Roki Sasaki and him being the MVP of that series, him being a postseason hero so far. I ask you guys, where would this team be without Roki Sasaki right now? Because the state of the bullpen entering the postseason, we knew we had concerns with Blake Trinan. We knew there were concerns with Tanner Scott, and then ultimately ends up being some health concerns for the dude. He's off the roster. By the way, I do have later on in the show, I'll find a spot to shoehorn it in. What I think the 26-man roster could or should look like for the NLCS. My buddy Scotty Gearman in the chat. What's going on, Scott? The guy texted me yesterday. He's like, what an effing win, man. Still thinking about that walk-off. Yeah, I will say once again, you really do feel for the kid, Orion Kirkring. It's not how you want to see a postseason series won or lost, but my sweet word, I will frickin' take it, because, again, my heart, I don't know how much more postseason baseball or playoff baseball it could have taken, especially after watching, the Mariners and the Tigers battle it out last night. You saw Jack Flaherty enter that game, 900 million inning baseball game. It was a lot. But back to the Roki side of things. I mean, dude, I don't know where this team would be without the services of Roki Sasaki, because the bullpen just wasn't. It was a weakness. It wasn't a strength either, but it wasn't quite a weakness. It just had its concerns. We all had our concerns. It was a little shaky, a little rocky. Now less rocky, thanks to Roki. In that 11th inning, we give some love, of course, to Ha-Seong Kim. Well, first you start with Tommy Edman. He gets on base. Ha-Seong Kim pinch runs for him. He ends up scoring the winning run. And by the way, there's a lot of crap about, Ha-Seong Kim didn't touch home plate. listen, one, he did go back to touch home plate. The Philly side of people don't want to put that up. They don't want to show that part of the video. Hashtag narrative. Beyond that, I do think there could have been a question where if there is some sort of play happening there, if there is a collision at the plate or whatever may have happened, you could have probably maybe challenged the fact that Kim did not have a lane. Real Muto did not give Ha-Seong Kim a lane. Thankfully, we didn't need to come down to that, because if there's one worse way to lose a playoff game for the Phillies or for the Dodgers, in my opinion, a terrible way for the Dodgers to win a playoff game, it would be if it went to review and it was on the Buster Posey rule that the dude was in the way, even though he was very clearly just going after a very fucking shitty Orion Kirkring throw. So the Kim side of it, he do good, he do run fast, he do score the Dodgers series clinching run. In that inning, though, we give Kike Hernandez obviously a lot of credit. Huge at bat, huge walk before the Andy Pages incident, we'll call it. But even before that, I haven't, obviously I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch. I just generally don't watch a lot of other people's content or whatever. When I'm not here making my own content, I want to be as far away from YouTube as I possibly can. Every once in a while, I'll pop in with friends like, Scotty, and every once in a while, Blake's on there, and Scotty and the boys over on Dodger Blue, Tim Rogers, over with Dodgers 2080, hanging out with him. Of course, Casey Porter, Dodgers Daily. Other random friends here on the internet, I'll pop in and watch their show. But I don't know if anybody brought up some love for Maxwell Stephen Muncy, getting that single that knocked Jesus Luzardo out of the game. I just wanted to make sure that Max got some love, because he deserved it. He absolutely deserved it. It was a solid effort all around from the Dodgers. It was the bottom of the order getting the job done with middle to bottom with Edman, with Muncy, with Kike, and then Pages. It was sad. It was honestly sad watching I think it was Lauren Shihadi interviewing Andy Pages after the game as if he actually did something. It pays just to make contact with the baseball, everybody. Elisheva Jones in the chat saying Muncy is incredible. And Matty Man 5 Dodge says Pages swings too much. That is his game. I don't know. I have the opinion that a lot of the good things that he had kind of built into his swing or started baking into his swing, mainly using right field, kind of going the other way, putting the ball on the ground, putting the ball in play towards the right side. I think he's gotten out of that. I think the moment at times has gotten a little too big for Pages this postseason. Hopefully the script flips a little bit in the NLCS. He was good. He had a couple of dingers in the NLCS last year against the Mets, so hopefully he wakes up a little bit there. Scotty G saying major AB from Kike. You guys know Scotty's thoughts, of course, already. Tube in to Scotty every weekday on Dodger Heads Unplugged. Great to see him back here on the YouTube doing content, because it's just a better place when Scott Gearman is doing Dodgers content. Also pointing out Roki was electric, found a way to make himself a stalwart in what was a lost season early on. Yeah, tale of two seasons for Roki Sasaki. The ultimate diamond in a rough sort of situation right there. And we've talked about it on the channel here. Something my boy Kevin Skinner, who, by the way, he slept it off. He slept it off, everybody. Kevin Skinner is back alive, potentially sober, playing tennis today. So he is unable to join. Actually, I technically didn't text him to see if he can join. My bad, Kevin. But I'm already locked in, so we'll get you on the next one here. But yeah, if the floor is lights out reliever for Roki Sasaki, the Dodgers did real damn good last offseason with the addition of Blake Snell, with the addition of Roki Sasaki. Maybe not so much Michael Conforto, but we don't need to talk about that, if you know what I mean. Let's move on a little bit here. Let's see. John of Malta saying October Roki is for real. That knuckle fork is devastating. Yeah. What I really like is just the fastball having the carry, having It looks like it has more arm side run to me. I haven't looked at the numbers. I haven't looked at the metrics, so I don't know if this version of his fastball has more of the arm side run, that kind of two-seam tail to it, than it did earlier in the season. But early in the season, that shit was flat as hell. That fastball was very hittable. Even me and Scotty G could have fell out of bed, maybe more so him, and hit that fastball for sure. We'll talk roster in a second. I'm seeing a couple people mention Kershaw. Of course, Matty Man 5 Dodge, number one Clayton Kershaw fan. Actually, that might be Nando 390. But Kersh won't pitch again. I would have agreed. I would have said yes. But the Tanner Scott injury makes it a little bit different. I'll talk about that in just a little bit later. Dave S., I really like this, and I hate this, and I like this, and I hate this. Says we would be planning on 2026 more than likely without Roki. Yeah, you know what? Great comment there. Roki has, I don't want to anoint him the savior of this Dodgers team, but he's not a bit of a savior for this Dodgers team. Shout out Roki Sasaki, friend of the show, but not really. We haven't had him on. I don't speak enough Japanese to have him on here. Couple of super chats from our friends. Dry Protoss with the $2 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. Says, spent a whole day not stressed out of my mind. Wasn't it nice? Wasn't it just like, I mean, I'm still stressed. Your boy's still stressed, but that's a different story. Richie Flores, $9.99 from Vegas, by the way. Happy birthday to Mrs. Richie and DeVore. They are out in Vegas. So, but he says Phillies kid, pitcher didn't choke. His non-postseason experience or his postseason inexperience did him in. He took responsibility, didn't run from the media. His eyes were swollen from tears. He has more class than Manny Machado. Hey, we love a good Manny Machado burn. F Manny Machado for no reason. Hopefully he's enjoying himself in Cancun. I love the side-by-side, by the way, because I gave some shit to, deserved shit to Jazz Chisholm, because I hate that dude. I don't know if I hate that dude. I just think he's not a very good, he's not a good influence for what baseball, kids should be seeing. That whole thing where he had his back to reporters, had his back to human beings while they were just trying to do their job and ask him questions. And he was being like, I'm not in the lineup, so I'm sad. I don't want to talk about it. Meanwhile, this kid, Kirkring, is face-to-face with reporters, looking them in the eyes, answering tough questions. And that's where you see the veterans in that clubhouse. His teammates, those Phillies teammates, they were hurting. They were not happy. Nobody's happy with the way that team lost. But the fact that they were like, hey, let's not let this kid dwell on this for the rest of his life. Yeah, he's going to be dwelling on this for the rest of his life. I questioned a lot. And we'll move on. Obviously, we're not going to talk a whole bunch, or the entire show is not going to be about that game. But I forgot. I lost my train of thought. I guess I do just generally want to move on. Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I've questioned a lot, why not just get the ball and throw to first? He did have a ton of time to make that play happen at home. He just also muffed it. PFPs are going to be high priority for that dude in the offseason and in spring training. But, you pitch the ball, you pick it up, you shovel it, whatever it is, you do a better throw than that one, and I think he will do that. Probably moving forward, he will take the smart play there. Matt Thomas saying how much he panicked does even make a good throw to first. The world may never know. PFPs though, Dodgers usually play a pretty clean brand of baseball. You've seen some really good defensive plays from the Dodgers at times. Tommy Edman has made a couple of nice plays. He made one really shitty throw, but thank God for Gold Glover Freddie Freeman. Go Glove! Hey, Freddie, go Glove! You guys know. If you know, you know. If you don't, Google Jose Ramirez, Gold Glove. Yeah. Dodgers are in a good spot. But they also, there are bigger questions. Final thing I'll say about that game. I want to shout him out again. Biggest start of Tyler Glasnow's Dodger career, and he did good. He owned. He shoved. He did his job. Yeah, he was pitching through cramps. Not going to make fun of him again. Maybe a little bit. Maybe at some point in time. But shout out to Tyler Glasnow, the top 4 in this starting rotation. You people let me know if you've ever seen a better rotation of 4 in a postseason series at any point. There's usually 1 or 2. Like, I feel god awful for Tarek Skubal on the Detroit Tigers. I was looking at some stats and all of his all of his postseason starts, he's just been electric. 6, 7, 8 innings, 1 run. The most he's given up is 2 runs. The least he'll strike out is 9 dudes. He's had 2 games where he struck out 13 hitters this postseason. Feel bad for Tarek Skubal, but he's all they have. Jack Flaherty, he put in some work. He put in some grind for the Tigers last night. And then Tommy Kahnle came in, and that was season. Yeah, you look at the numbers, it doesn't match up my narrative, but I was texting Jeff and Kevin last night and telling them, hey, look, it's the human postseason loss, Tommy Kahnle. And then he lost it. Let's see. I saw a comment I wanted to make sure. Well, I'll throw this one up here. Swollen Saucer said he did compete if we're talking about Tyler Glasnow. And I think I saw a Uhas comment. I wanted to make sure I got in here before we move on. There it is. Why are you giving him props? Now he's going to do bad. That's right. Hey, listen, he still left early because he had cramps, all right? He could have gone 7 innings, but he left early because he had cramps. He's weak. He's puny. There. Did it work? We'll find out if it worked. I have lambasted Tyler Glasnow. Scotty G says Glasnow said in the 3rd he was feeling it. Put it aside, and that start is why you pay him. He earned that shit. Yeah, I mean, you think about it. Glas was kind of the first ace. I mean, first ace the Dodgers acquired 2 years ago after they're like, we need some starting pitching real bad. When they lost, when the ghost of Clayton Kershaw's elbow gave up 1 billion runs and got 1 out against the Diamondbacks, and it was very obvious that they needed starting pitching. Yes, technically they had signed Shohei Ohtani first, but he wasn't going to pitch in 2024. At that presser, they announced the acquisition and extension of Tyler Glasnow. So that was the first big money addition to this Dodger starting rotation. A couple weeks later, ends up being Yoshinobu Yamamoto, that we all, of course, remember, who have been here since day one. Broke here on the All Dodgers YouTube channel. Well, we didn't break it, but we were live when it happened. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun going through that. But I agree with Scotty G. That's why you pay him. That's why he earns that money. He has ace stuff. He is not an ace in my mind yet, but more starts like that, more availability over the course of a season, that is how you get that kind of, you are anointed, you are knighted as the ace or as an ace. But as of right now, far and away the best number fucking 4 starter in the postseason. All of that said, that game should have been won a lot easier. That game 4 should have been won a lot easier. Dodgers offense has not been exceptional this postseason. These numbers here from Blake Harris, friend of the show. Yeah, you hit a $199, 58 weighted runs created plus, 5 for 29 with runners in scoring position. A bunch of dudes left on base. They still find a way to win that series. I don't know about y'all. I am a little worried about the offensive ability of this team at times, because even this postseason, it's really all been, big swings from Teoscar Hernandez. That's how they've won it. And even Teo with his, kind of more recent struggles. He's still hitting 308 in the postseason. Still has 9 RBI. He still has, 3 dingers. He's been pretty good. Now, is it more of the Dodgers just being bad at the wrong time, or is it more the Phillies being a very, very good, having a very good pitching staff? I think there's a good amount of it being the Philadelphia Phillies being a pretty damn good baseball team, and that's why we were very worried about the Phillies heading into the postseason. Much like last year, I saw somebody mention on the social media, and I agree to a degree, not in that the statement is that this NLDS, Dodgers-Phillies, this was the Dodgers World Series. Now, not in terms of weight of the series, but in terms of stress and, I guess, weight of the competition. Yes, that probably was. I'll knock on desk here to not put bad juju into the world here. If you guys have Jobu, kiss him on the mouth. He likes it, but he'll also get away with any of the bad juju and hubris here. Like, moving forward, I feel pretty good about any of the teams the Dodgers are going to face in the NLCS, either of the teams, or in the World Series. We'll talk more about that as the days and weeks go on. But that was a tough series. Phillies are a very, very good baseball team. They have a lot of slug. They have a lot of veteran leadership. They have a lot of very, very good lefties that Shohei Ohtani does not know how to hit. What is he hitting? Buck 50 this postseason or something like that. Need to get Show going. You need to get Shohei Ohtani going. If you want to go anywhere this postseason, you need to get Show going. You need to get Freddie going a little bit. He's been okay. I love you, Mookie Betts, by the way. Shout out Mookie Betts for being kind of the postseason so far. OCJ tipping his hand says, not that one. Well, also, hi, Denny. Hi there. Our boy Steve in the chat, but OCJ saying, morning, go Cubbies. Kevin would love that, of course. Producer Kevin, big time Cubs fan. But yeah, the state of the Dodgers is they need offense. You need bats. Whether it's the Cubs, whether it's the Brewers, I think you need to outslug the Cubs more than the Brewers. I think we'll talk more about this in a little bit. I think you could survive the Brewers. The Dodgers can outlast the Brewers. The Cubs, you need to slug. They have been very good at home. Very good at home. And they got some dudes in that lineup, man. People are going to hate it. I really love seeing Michael Busch thrive. He had a phenomenal year for Chicago, leading off for them this postseason, which is just wild. I don't know if he did that a lot during the postseason because, unlike Kevin, I'm not a Cubs fan. But yeah, hell of a season. 34 homers, just under 100 RBI. We always knew the kid could hit. He just wasn't going to play first base in LA. They have a Hall of Famer there, but yeah, when you're looking at the state of the Dodgers, the pitching, I feel pretty confident about. I feel confident even in like somebody like Blake Trinan. I've said it time and time again. I need to see Blake Trinan pitching with other people's runners on the bases. I think he is better in that fireman role right now rather than clean innings. Hopefully he takes his time. This downtime, he figures something out. He gets locked in. You're not going to be able to. I don't think you'll be able to deploy Roki in the upcoming series in the NLCS the way you did in this series with the Phillies. I think they're going to do a lot more homework. Whoever it is, Cubs, Brewers, they're going to do a lot more homework on Roki Sasaki. Let's not forget, he still is just a 2-pitch pitcher. Granted, now one of those pitches is elite, and the other one is pretty damn good, and they play off of each other very well. But beyond that, huge stuff. Emmett Sheehan, yeah, he gave up a couple of runs in that, or he gave up one run in his appearance. I think just that one. So he pitched wild card game 1, game 2, gave up a run there, didn't look good. Pitched twice. Was it twice in the NLCS? The other one, if he learns how to catch a baseball, if he does his own PFP, that's probably the most unclean play the Dodgers have made this postseason. The Dodgers probably win in regulation. Shout out Jeff Snyder for reminding me that it would call it he would call it regulation. But beyond him, we saw some big old balls on Anthony Bonda in that game, in game 5. No, it was game 5. Not game 5. It was game 4, game 3, whenever it was. Him escaping some damage. Jack Dreyer in his appearance. He looked good. He looked better than he did in that wild card series. That I think I'm grasping at straws. I don't remember a lot of the pitching appearances, but Vess has been solid. Even if he's been wild, he's been effectively wild. Anthony Bonda was an absolute dude. Hopefully, in the NLDS, he was running off of that the anger of being held off of the wild card series, or the feeling of being slighted in that wild card series. But with those dudes, with Bonda, Sheehan, Vesia, of course, Roki Sasaki, and you assume this team is going to add a couple of arms. I think I updated this correctly. I do believe they end up adding Ben Kasparius and Will Klein back to this roster. This is my kind of prediction for the 26-man roster. No real surprises on the position player side of the ledger. I do think they now that we know Will Smith is healthy, There's no reason to carry 3 catchers, thus meaning there's no reason for Dalton Rushing to have a roster spot. Justin Dean, your Make-A-Wish time, as somebody said in the comments of one of the post-game shows. Justin Dean, your time as a Make-A-Wish kid is over. You will probably definitely not have a postseason roster spot. Clayton Kershaw, you see on that pitching side of the ledger, I wouldn't have had him on my NLCS roster if it wasn't for Tanner Scott. Tanner Scott being out opened the spot for 22, and I don't think anybody else deserves that spot or warrants that spot. It's not going to be a Landon Knack. It's not going to be the injured kid whose name escapes me. It's not going to be Kyle Hurt because we haven't seen Kyle Hurt all this season. I already have the other 2 roster spots that are being given up on the position player side going to Ben Kasparius and Will Klein. I don't mind it. I don't mind adding. I really like Ben Kasparius. I was shocked when they did option him, but he's another dude who has some stones as well. And I think I think that pitching staff will do well. And I think having a couple more arms, that was one of the things we saw. The fact that Roki had to throw 3 innings was tough. Shout out Roki Sasaki going 3 innings, but we would like to not have to do that again. And having a couple of arms, more arms really with Kasparius and Will Klein, who has looked very, very good at times in his time with the Dodgers. I think we'll be a lot better pitching wise on the pitching side. It's really just about the offense. You got to get that offense going. It's not going to be all me today, guys. We got some thoughts from the voicemail hotline. I want to know what people have to say. If you guys are here, I'll try to keep an eye on the voicemails as we are listening to voicemails. Voicemails here. Call in 562-373-4095 to get your thoughts in. Keep them short. Keep them sweet. Keep them productive. Here, I don't know. I didn't name them, so let's hear who this one is.
Well, what up, guys? It's Snow, as you know, and I gotta say, guys, I am so happy that we beat the Phillies. This series felt like a World Series. It was so stressful. Every pitch I was holding my breath. It's crazy, guys. But guess what? It's not over. We still got to win the NLCS and the World Series, so buckle up. This series was special. Every player played at least one key part, even the ones that were, quote, on the slump. Ohtani, Brian, the go-ahead, not the go-ahead, but ultimately the last run in Game 2, and we won by 1 run, so so he played a significant part. All our starters looked like number ones. Yamamoto only giving up 2 runs. That's still number 1, guys. We will win it all, and that's all I got to say. But it's Saturday, so fuck Manny Machado, fuck Fernando Tatis, fuck the Dodger Stadium parking lot, and for the love of God, fuck the Ghost Runner. See ya.
Hey, I think a lot of players between the Mariners and the Tigers would have appreciated the Ghost Runner Friday night in Seattle. Those boys had to have been tired. Yeah, I mean, everybody has chipped in some way, even if Shohei hasn't had a Shohei type of series, he has still made a difference. Obviously, he has produced for this team. I need to see him. I need to see him slow down or shorten up. Just keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it simple. Find some grass before you start going big fly. Elisheva Jones reminds us there is no Ghost Runner in the postseason. Thank God. I do appreciate it. Going back to real baseball. We got another voicemail. I don't know who it's from, so let's. I might have accidentally downloaded 2 of the same one. No, these are different. Okay, here we go. Here's one.
Anything that's taught me about the game of baseball,
Richie.
It could be cruel and funny at the same time. The Phillies kid who obviously made a mistake in front of a national television audience and panicked and wet his pants, and instead of simply just stepping off and throwing the ball to first base, he panicked and threw the ball away. And the next thing you know, Andy Pages, who was 1 for 102 in the series, hits a 20-foot ball that dribbles in front of the mound and winds up being the walk-off hero. That's how funny baseball is. And then there's Roki Sasaki, a cold-blooded assassin. When asked if the Phillies crowd got to him, he simply replied, "I don't speak English," which was probably the biggest badass answer I've ever heard from an athlete in my entire existence on this planet. And then there's Bill Plaschke. Plaschke all he had to say about that epic game between the Tigers and the Mariners last night, which was just drama theater, to be honest, mine. And even though I didn't have a rooting interest in that game, I found myself on the edge of the seat and thinking, like, is it going to end now? Is it going to end now? And both teams laid it out on the field. Both pitching staffs threw their guts out. Even Flaherty was throwing BBs in there to try to get his team to the promised land. And all Plaschke had to say was, it was a double yawner, and it was boring. Well, hey, Bill, when was the last time that you put your ass out in the line? When was the last time that you were trying to move on in front of a national television audience and millions of fan bases depending on you to take them to the promised land? Hey, try never, okay? So basically, when you go out there and you compete in the world of Major League Baseball, and then if you succeed, then you can pop up. But until then, kiss my fat, DeVore, man cave Mexican ass. And finally, let's get into the NLCS. It's real simple. Throw strikes, play catch, put the ball in play, run the bases intelligently. I really want to see our stars shine, but they did in other ways, both defensively and making intelligent decisions on the field to do the little things to get us in. So I say this, fuck the Dodger Stadium parking lot, fuck cheesesteaks, fuck the Liberty Bell, fuck Independence Hall, and for the love of God, fuck the Ghost Runner. See ya.
Richie had some thoughts coming in sultry. Richie from DeVore coming in from, it sounds like, the bathroom in his room in Las Vegas, where they are celebrating Mrs. Richie's birthday this weekend. I appreciate the love for Bill Plaschke mixed in there. I don't know if you guys are aware of what Richie is talking about, but Bill, bless his heart, complained. He tweeted. He went onto the Twitter machine, complained about the game yesterday. It's so boring. It's not a baseball classic between the Mariners and the Tigers. It was boring. A bunch of guys not playing the game the right way and swinging from their heels instead of, trying to execute some bunts and whatever. And, this is me putting a lot of words and adding context to his complaints. Yeah, listen, the only thing that Plaschke's ever done was get a little wet, a little soaked from Yasiel Puig, and then write an entire column bitching and complaining about it. Bill Plaschke is a respected columnist, but he's also a bit of a coward. And Manny Man says Bill's an asshole. He walks around a little bit like shit don't stink. A little bit. Anyways, we got another voicemail. I haven't seen if anybody else has called in and left new stuff, but we got one more final one for now before we do shift gears and move on. And I think this is the one I didn't play, so let's find out together.
You're Sir Alexander Rose here, as you know or don't know. Well, now you know. It's been one day since the Dodgers clinched the NLDS, and I'm already missing baseball when the Dodgers don't play. But I'm also not stressing, as we all would be if they were playing. So that's a good thing to have a nice day of relaxation, a nice weekend of relaxation.
Yes. Before
the NLCS. Now, I don't think we're even worried about who we face, whether it's the Cubs or the Brewers. I honestly have us winning this and facing maybe the Blue Jays at the World Series. So it should be interesting to see how things go. I'm going to be honest, this is so early for me. It is 8:30 in the morning. I went to bed at like 3 or 4, so I'm a little sleepy. I'm a little tired. But honestly, go Dodgers. Go All Dodgers podcast. Make sure you guys like, subscribe. Show some love to Clint, Old Man Jeff, and Chef Kevin. And, F-bomb this, F-bomb that. I still don't want to cuss. It's too early for this crap. All right? Anyway, bye.
Appreciate Alexander Rose calling in. Somebody said in the comments here, Pink Pearl saying, is your nose okay? I'll hand you a tissue. Yeah, I'm having, I don't know. Sometimes I get allergic to Saturday shows, I think. I don't know. It's very weird. It's very weird. It seems that like I will be fine, and then the show starts, and then it becomes a whole thing. But anyways, a lot of people calling in early, maybe still half asleep. But we appreciate the love. We appreciate the support on the All Dodgers voicemail hotline. Denny is getting tired. So we'll spice it up a little bit. You know, I'm going to spice it up. I'm going to tell you guys about our partners, Bleav Me. Appreciate Bleav Me for sponsoring the shows. Let me tell you guys, Bleav Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. Data brokers make a profit off of you. They make a profit off of your data. That sucks. Your data to them is a commodity. Anybody on the web can buy your private details. That could lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, harassment, those annoying calls, those stupid emails you get. Now you could protect your privacy with Bleav Me. If you guys have ever been the victim of identity theft or know somebody who has, I know a couple people who have, it's an awful thing to have to go through. It's a time suck. It sucks in general if they do find a way to get your information and God forbid, take your money or whatever. It's just, there's so many dumb people you need to talk to be able to restore your privacy, restore your data, and Bleav Me will help get your information off the internet. They're gonna do what they can to help get your information out of the hands of these data brokers. Take control of your data. Keep your private life private by signing up for Bleav Me now at a special discount for our listeners. You see there on the screen, 20% off. You get 20% off your Bleav Me plan when you go to joinbleaveme.com/hit and use that promo code HIT. That is HIT at checkout. That's the only way you can get 20% off is you go to joinbleaveme.com/hit. Use promo code HIT at checkout. Save 20%. Again, that is joinbleaveme.com/hit. Use promo code HIT. Tell them I sent you. You can't. The code will tell them. But thank you guys for listening and supporting the brands that support us here on the All Dodgers podcast. Let's move on, guys. Let's talk about that series. One of the things Alexander Rose said is like, doesn't really care who we're facing, whether it's the Cubs, whether it's the Brewers. I have some thoughts. I have some opinions about that. Let's talk about Cubs, Brewers. Obviously, we don't know who we're playing yet. They play tonight. I think it's a 6:08 game in Milwaukee. The home team has won each of the first 4 games. The Brewers manager, Pat Murphy, has shouted out Wrigley Field, the friendly confines, are unfriendly if you're not a Wrigley fan. If you're not a Cubby. He pointed out the environment was a lot. Obviously it's not going to necessarily get to the players, but it is rattling the players to a degree. It's loud. It is what's the word, raucous there at Wrigley Field. Milwaukee, not as crazy, of course. But yeah, whoever wins this game gets the privilege of facing the Dodgers for the National League pennant. Home field. Dodgers would have home field if the Cubs win. Dodgers go to Milwaukee if the Brewers win, because Brewers would have the home field advantage by virtue of having the better record. Dodgers were 3-4 versus, I think it was 3-4 versus the Cubs this season. 0-6 versus the Brew Crew this season. I look a whole lot less into the Milwaukee results. That was a very different time. Very different ball club for the Dodgers. Last time they faced off was coming out of the All-Star break back in mid-July. Of course, they made huge trade deadline splashes to get Alex Call and Ben Rortvedt. Ben Rortvedt. Shout out Ben Rortvedt. In your face, everybody else who didn't get Ben Rortvedt. You suckers. Sorry, Ron Rohrfeldt, if you're nasty. Dodgers haven't faced the Cubs since like April, I think. I got to double check that. Of course, they opened the season against the Cubs in Japan. It would be kind of cool if it is the Cubs to have the pennant on the line for the two teams that opened the baseball season all the way back in March in Japan, the Dodgers and the Cubs. So that would be kind of cool. But to the question, and I'll ask you guys now before I answer it myself. People are already putting it in the chat. Who would you rather see the Dodgers face, the Cubs, the Brewers. What scares you about either of those clubs? I personally, I've seen a few people saying the Cubs. Obviously, they're the weaker club. I really don't know. I mean, both clubs are pretty decent. Brewers look better because of an insanely hot run they had during the middle of the season. I think they won like 18 of 20 games or something. I don't know. They won a lot of games at one point. But for me, who would I rather face? I'll set it up this way. The Dodgers have the pitching and the firepower to flip the script on the Brewers and that 0-6 record against them. I feel confident against the Brewers. I think they can outlast Milwaukee the same way they did back in 2018, because when you look at the starting pitching, the Dodgers have 4 dudes who are elite. And you could still, if you need to, for some reason, you got Emmett Sheehan in the tank. You have long relievers who can be elite with Sheehan, with Wrobleski. I do think that was the worst of Clayton Kershaw we are going to see this postseason. I do think we see Kershaw in this NLCS because of the Tanner Scott issue or injury. I like the way the Dodgers match up against the Brewers. Not to say I don't like the way, in a vacuum, the Dodgers match up with the Cubbies. However, things that give me pause, that make me worried about playing the Cubbies, is I worry about Wrigley Field. Particularly the wind in the outfield and Andy Pages and Teoscar Hernandez playing defense out there. Pete Crow Armstrong is an elite defensive center fielder. He knows Wrigley. I don't know who's playing right field for them right now. I don't know if it's Seiya, whoever it is. But the important thing is they got PCA in center. The Dodgers don't. Andy Pages has been much better in center field. He has improved his center field play as the season has gone along. But the Cubs players practice at least 81 games a year. They have played at least 81 games this season alone at Wrigley Field. They understand, well, plus 2 more. 3 more? 2 more. They understand the lay of the land, The Dodgers, and really it's Teo. I do worry. Denny brings up the stupid ivy out in Wrigley Field. That's one thing. Knowing that you can't crash into a wall, I do think you see some outfielders be a little bit more timid. I'm not worried about Kike Hernandez if he ends up remaining the primary left fielder. Kike knows Wrigley. Kike has played Wrigley in October. That 3 home run game there back in 2015, 2016, whatever it was. I think it was 16. It wasn't 16. It was 15. 17. Whatever it was. Kike has performed there is the point that I'm going for here. I worried about the outfield. I worry about that outfield defense, even if it's just a couple of games, because I do think, again, the Dodgers have the wild card advantage. Have the advantage, so they would have the home field advantage, having the better record or whatever, or actually winning the division. That's what it is. That's how it would work, I think. Either way, I hate Wrigley Field, and that's why I want to go to I would rather have the Dodgers face Milwaukee. That is my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on it. As unclean as that was that I put together, those are my thoughts there. Richie bringing up the fact that fans are also on top of you there at Wrigley Field. Yeah, very, very small ballpark. That's just the way it be. $5 super chat from Dr. V. Appreciate the support. Dr. V says, either is fine. Honestly, Dodgers had the B squad out there during the season. This is what the lineup was supposed to be, minus Tanner Scott. Rest in peace, Tanner Scott, of course. Appreciate the super chat there from from Dr. V and everybody else who has supported us with a super chat so far. I already said earlier, Denny saying the ivy out there in Wrigley is dumb. Ken, in the chat, appreciate Ken, good dude, came out to our last All Dodgers meetup over at the Pico Rivera Golf Course. Really nice dude. It says the only team that can beat the Dodgers is the Dodgers. Somebody has been listening to Jeff too much. Says each year they are beating themselves less and less. Experience is key. I did have this conversation with someone. When you think of the course of this Dodgers team getting better and better, since the Guggenheim ownership took over, like 2013, 2014. You don't really think much about those teams. I like to look at 2015 as that turning point where Zach Greinke didn't cover third base. You look foolish. You get beat by the Mets. From that point, 16, they played really good. The Cubs, that was their year. They were destined to win it all in 2016. Finally break that 108-year-old record of and curse to win a World Series. 2017, you saw the Dodgers get better. Obviously, big moments, big plays. You make it to the World Series, and they're cheated out of a fair fight in the World Series. 2018, that team should not have made it to the World Series, but they showed grit, they showed guts, they showed that they had learned something. That group, that core of dudes had learned something over those previous 3 or 4 postseasons on how to manage a postseason, how to get through it, particularly against that Brewers team. Brewers were the better team, quite certain. Maybe not the better roster, but they had the better club in that 2018 NLCS, and the Dodgers were able to outlast them. Barely able to outlast them. Obviously, 19 was a big learning curve for Dave Roberts. Don't go to Clayton Kershaw in relief just because you're trying to create a storyline, because you're trying to rewrite history. It doesn't work. Go with the right guys in the right time. Back to 2018, don't take the baseball from Rich Hill. Learn to talk to your pitchers. We saw that lesson evident in 2024. Dave going out there, talking to Blake Trinan. Even this year, talking to Blake Snell. Trusting in your guys rather than trusting the scouting report or the game plan or the script. Air quote, #script. This team has learned a lot. Absolutely has learned a lot. I forgot the narrative of where we started with this one. I think that was Ken's comment a little bit ago. But anyways, Dodgers are just a better team in that experience. There it is. They're beating themselves less and less. The experience is key. They're also better at scouting and understanding how to beat these other teams by letting themselves beat themselves, which was the game plan against the Yankees last postseason. We got a super chat from my friend Kevin Uhas, our favorite Kevin here on the All Dodgers YouTube channel. Pause for effect. Says, we were swept by the Brewers all year, 0-6, right? Give me the Cubs. The Dodgers, both against the Cubs and against the Brewers, very different ball clubs. So I take those numbers with a grain of salt. But we've also seen the Dodgers in the past, postseasons past, even though it was a wee lad back in 1988. The Mets, they weren't supposed to get through the Mets. I think the Mets beat them like 10 times that year or something like that. And the Dodgers beat the Mets in the LCS to advance to the World Series, and that was a very underpowered Dodgers roster, as old man Jeff Snyder will tell you. I don't care. Yeah, 0-6 looks bad, but the Dodgers didn't have Alex Call then. It's a different ball club. Absolutely different ball club. Danny's got a point. Let's get some likes in here. Guys, hit that thumbs up for Alex Call. By the way, isn't he perfect? I think he has been perfect so far this postseason. Batting 1,000 is Alex Call. Very small sample size. Yeah, 3 for 3, 2 walks, and a hit by pitch for Alex Call. Listen, always trust little Andy F. It's all one word. Always trust Friedman. He always be cooking. Noah. Thoughts on Cubs fan? He says Cubs fan, quote, Brie Delio. I would put the Cubs fan part in quotes. Slow down, idiot. She's annoying, but that's part of her game. I appreciate the fact that her intent is to be annoying and ruffle feathers. I would hate to. This is all right. We got a tangent going here. Noah Ortega to start a tangent. What is up with these people? And filming themselves reacting to shit. She's not watching. I'm pretty certain Bree is not watching all of these baseball games and setting up a camera to fucking film herself reacting to all of these things. But regardless of it being just her, She hears, it's like John Boy going like, oh, there was somebody who told me a game ended a funny way, or this moment happened. I'm going to go watch that now, and then I'm going to make a breakdown out of it. She hears, and a lot of these people hear, oh, this game ended a certain way. I'm going to go watch the highlights, and I'm going to film myself, and I'm going to put it on and pretend like this is a live reaction. I don't know. I'm calling shenanigans on Brie Delio. But anyways, beyond just her, what is up with this whole people needing to film themselves reacting to shit? It's weird. It's weird. That's it. That's all I got. Shout out Brie, though. She does a good job. She does a good job of agitating. JP says, doesn't matter who they play. Too many things got to go wrong to lose to either club. I don't like the idea of you putting that into the ethos, JP. I don't want things to go wrong. But yes, back to what Ken said, what Jeff likes to propagate here on the YouTube, if that's the right way to use that word, which it might be, is, the Dodgers, they can beat themselves. I lost my thought. There by trying to self-correct. The Grammarly is always going in my brain. That's right. The only team that could beat themselves, the only team that could beat the Dodgers is the Dodgers. That's there it is. We found it. We always find it, guys. Sometimes it's me, and I'm just here and I'm by myself, and there's no safety net. Anyways, OCJ, the legend of Alex Call. That's right. I think there's still some big moments ahead for that dude. There are some big lefties for both teams, by the way. Brewers have Quintana and whatever Robert Gasser is. I don't even know him looking at these rosters here. But Shota Imanaga and Matthew Boyd for the Cubbies. When you're looking at their rotation options, Alex Call is going to remain a big postseason piece for this Dodgers. For these Dodgers moving forward in that NLCS. Either way you shake it. And this is where I do wonder if Dave, let's say they play the Cubs and it's a Boyd game and it's an Imanaga game, and even though Andy Pages, if you're Richie, saw somebody say he doesn't know how to pronounce it. He knows how to, but he dicks around. But Pages, maybe he has not had a good postseason. You find a way to bench him against one of those starters or something like that, just to get Alex Call and Kike Hernandez in the lineup, maybe. And then you still have Mickey Rowe in there, Tommy Edman at second base, Mickey Rowe at third, Alex Call in left, and Kike Hernandez in center. I will say, I imagine Kike Hernandez is playing a lot of center field during any sort of scrimmages the Dodgers may be doing over these few days, just kind of brushing up. He's been playing left field, but the angle is a little bit different in center field. But just some thoughts there, just thinking aloud. Pages might see a little bit of a reduction in playing time. Richie bringing it up. Yeah, the Dodgers were a 1-11 against the Mets that 1988 postseason. Beverly was at that Rich Hill game in 2018. Yeah, that was a tough game. It was a very tough game. We don't like to talk about that game. Nicole said Alex Call was clearly brought in for Philly. No, he was just the best available guy that they were willing to pay for with prospects at the trade deadline. Topher says Bro's job is videoing himself reacting to the Dodgers. No, this is analyzing. Topher, Christopher, this is called analysis. This is a talk show. This is not me watching the game. If you're talking about me. Now, if you're making fun of the other person, you're making fun of Brie or whatever, then I'm fine. But if you're trying to come at me, hey, this is talking about it. This is breaking it down. This is analysis. This is not being like putting words on the screen and being like, oh my God, are they going to win? What is happening? And doing the big eyes and this whole thing. Anyways. Dr. B says instigate. What? And also initiate? I don't know. I missed something there, so we'll just take those ones off. And manifest. Oh, okay, there it is. And manifestate, not a word, but I said it anyways. I'll allow it. We make up the best words here on the All Dodgers YouTube channel. Someone had asked, what is Ohtani's batting average so far this postseason? Shohei hitting 148 with a 603 OPS. Even worse since that first game against the Reds in the wild card. We had the 2 home run game. Since then, he is I think it's 2 for 25 or whatever. He's in like 050 since that game 1. You need Shohei to step the F up. Jose says pie ass instead of pajes. I'll allow it. Darren Shepard, what's going on, Darren? Good to see you in here, buddy. Says 100% agree. FRG reaction content is trash. Shouldn't be a thing. Yeah. And I will say though, it is funny watching like particularly the John Boy people just absolutely lose their shit. That one dude who is a Phillies fan, or even the Jake dude, like them watching the way that game ended. That was. There's a lot of things. I saw the Sportsnet LA reaction of the walk-off error. That was good, but they weren't filming themselves for the sake of reacting. They were being filmed because that is their job. Nicole Taylor coming up with a pretty good potential money-making scheme here. Says, do people film their reactions to other people's reactions? Actually, yeah, people do, and it's a sad time we live in. Sad time. Dodgers are World Series favorites, by the way. Probably should have shoehorned this in much, much earlier, but shout out FanDuel sponsoring the show. We appreciate FanDuel. Go check out FanDuel. Put some money on there if you can. But the Dodgers plus 115 favorites to win the World Series at the moment. Blue Jays not too far behind. Blue Jays pretty good baseball team right now. Postseason, they're getting away with a lot of slug. They are living on the slug. Mariners, of course, plus 340. Mariners, a very good baseball team. The Dodgers, the most recent team the Dodgers swept, well, outside of the Reds, but we don't count that, was the Seattle Mariners to end the season. And the Mariners were playing for something. So I feel a lot better about that. Like we said earlier, a shout out again to FanDuel there. Appreciate them being a presenting partner here on All Dodgers. But like we said earlier, that NLDS was, in terms of talent and ability, might have been the Dodgers World Series. That might have been the biggest challenge. Not to say there's not going to be peaks and valleys and challenges in this upcoming NLCS and in the World Series. But like it was last year with the Padres, that was a tough series. It was a painful series. After that, it wasn't smooth sailing, but it was pretty damn close for the Dodgers. Diane has joined us. Diane is working today, checking in from her open house. We appreciate Diane. That reminds me, whenever I see Diane, I haven't even pushed this button all day. Guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you again. We did surpass the 20,000 subscriber mark. That is awesome. Literally could not do it without you guys. We appreciate it. Here's getting to 25, and then the next 25 after that, and then to a bajillion subscribers. We're going to be bigger than Mr. Beast, I promise you, or your money back. Not super chats or Patreon money, though, because that's mine. Give it to me. I don't know what I'm doing. Hey, we got one more voicemail along the way from Isabel. Hold on, let me load up Isabel's voicemail here, and then we will call it a day from there. But here is what Isabel had to say about whatever.
Hi, Clint. This is Isabel from Anaheim. I'm a big Dodger fan. I just gotta say, it doesn't really matter who the Dodgers play to me the next round because they still gotta beat them. So, anyway, love you, and fuck Philadelphia, and I'm so glad that the Dodgers beat the Phillies because my cousin's a Philly fan, so this Christmas I can have a fun time with her. So anyway, just go Dodgers, okay? Thank you. Bye.
That was phenomenal. I was not, as C. Carrera said, Isabel in the A. I was not expecting Isabel to drop a, fuck Philadelphia. Yeah, that was good. That's it. That's all the thoughts I got today, guys. I appreciate the hell out of y'all hanging out with me. I didn't expect to go an hour. We ended up going an hour. We'll be back live tomorrow, probably in the evening, with a series preview. Stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel so you know when we are live. Hit that like button. Comment on the video after the fact if you're watching it not live. It really helps us out on the YouTube. The more you guys watch, the more you like, the more you share it, the more content we're eventually able to do. Because if Jeff and I or don't have regular jobs, then we could be home and just churning out content all the time and hanging out with you guys. But either way, appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of the show. If you are looking for that different way to support the show and you have a couple of extra bucks laying around, check out the Patreon, patreon.com/realfrg, or click the join button here on YouTube. Those links are in the description below. With that, you are supporting me, Jeff, Kevin, independent Dodgers coverage. And with it, you also get access to our Discord server where we are talking about the games all day long, all year long, all postseason long, all off-season long when we get to free agency and all that kind of stuff. But it's a lot of fun. Even if you wanted to sign up for 1 month to check it out during the postseason run, we'd appreciate it if you check it out. It's $5 a month. That's not too bad. That's less than the price of a Dodger dog. So do check that out. I appreciate you. I appreciate FanDuel for presenting the show. I appreciate Bleav for having us on. I appreciate our great moderators in the chat. I want to particularly shout out Denny for doing a kick-ass job. Of course, our friend IB Strokin for doing a great job. As usual, we love Strokin. Pause for effect. Pause for effect. That's all I got. Follow me on the social media. Follow Jeff on the social media. Snydog. Follow Kevin Skinner7 Kevin. Send him some well wishes in his probably extended hangover. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.